Hey guys, so today I'm doing a book review. Today's book is this, Essentialism by Greg McKeown. So the way I review books is basically I read it and then I go through and I dog ear all the pages that I like, okay? And then I put them into my notepad and read them either to myself or today I'm reading them to you guys. So what I'm going to do is just go through the points that I think were the most beneficial of the book. Let's crack on. So first of all, the whole book is awesome. It's just about how you can do less in your life and get more out of it. Okay, so less but better is one of the first expressions they talk about. Greg says that, having discipline in your life and having things that you can, live by design rather than by default. What that means is by designing your life, you create the routines, the things that you just say no to rather than yes to, and creating something that makes your life the most essential it can possibly be to get the most out of it. And sometimes, more often than not, that means doing less in your life than it actually does doing more. So best way to describe this is by this really crazy little diagram we drew here. What that basically is where you've got 100% of your energy. And imagine if you were giving 100% of your energy to, say, 5 different things. You can only really give each one 20% of your time. Whereas if you've got one thing you're doing really well, you're going to give it 100% of your energy and it's going to go further, 20%, 100% further than it is by doing 20% at a time. So makes a lot of sense. You have the ability to basically, instead of choosing between things to do, they're called trade-offs. So let's say, we all are guilty of trying to do everything at once and trying to do everything and fit everything in. It's impossible to do it. So you need to be able to trade things off against each other. For example, you've got a big project due on Friday, for example, and after work, you need to go home and work on it for a bit, but your mate says, hey, should we go to the pub for a quick drink? Or do you want to come and watch a movie with me? In the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, I'd rather do that, but you've got this thing to do tomorrow, so why waste time? It's gonna be a problem if you go out with your friend, so just say no. That's it. Just say no. What's the more essential thing you need to do, the project or the film? That's the question it comes down to. Okay. If you don't prioritize your life, somebody else will. Right. No more need to be said about that. We have a lot of choices in the world today. So more so than probably ever in history. So it's so easy to be sucked into all different things. The best way to get out of that or to get out of that routine is to get rid of the obstacles, get rid of the opportunity for you to be able to be pulled in every different direction, minimize your life down to what you really want, what you really need, and just do the essential things that get you going to where you'll go, get you to where you want to go. So if you're working on something that means that not seeing your friends for 6 months is part of that, then if they're really your friends, they'll be there 6 months later. If they're not, then they probably weren't your mates anyway. So things like that, just being it comes down to individual choice. It's about drowning out the outside noise. It's about trade-offs, and it's about the highest point of contribution. What I mean by this is basically the right thing, right? The right reason and the right time. Okay, so all of those things combined create the highest point of contribution. Okay, what else have we got here? Choose your life. Don't leave gaps. It sounds silly, but in a diary, if you have a free time, block it out as free time. Do whatever you want to do in that free time. But if you leave it unmarked as free time, then when somebody says, hey, Jack, are you free to do this at 12 o'clock next week? And I've got nothing in my diary, then my brain's like, oh, well, yeah, you can. And then you panic. Whereas if you've got free time written there, in the back of your head, you've sectioned that off for you. That's your time. That's the time you want to do your things, right? Rather than giving what your most precious commodity is, time, to somebody else. Okay. Focus. We need focus. We need focus in life, right? But actually the paradox here is that we actually need less. We need to focus on having less focus. So in order to have less focus, we need to escape from it, right? We need to have the ability to just zone out and be in a quiet space, in a quiet place, and just go, what am I focusing on? And that means not focusing on other things. Yeah, that blew my mind too. Keep a journal. That has come up in pretty much every single book that I've read, and it really does help. So if you don't keep a journal, start one. They're very helpful just for good things, bad things, remembering dates, just stuff that keeps your mind. It's like a little brain in a book. It's great. Really, really good. What else? Reducing stress, I got down there. Protect your priorities, right? Do the things that you need to do, the most important things first. Just do them first. Why wait till the second, third, fourth, fifth time? Do the important things first, right? Prioritize your priorities, right? Get them done out of the way, and then you'll feel a lot better about yourself. Eliminate things, right? This is a hard one because a lot of people think this is being a bit brutal, but in order to have an essential lifestyle that works for you, you sometimes need to eliminate people, things, activities, habits, possessions, stuff like that, that's not serving you. I talk to a lot of people about this sort of stuff, and I say that the question you need to ask yourself when something comes up is it serving you or is it serving them? And unless there's a mutual benefit, usually it's serving the other person, and it means it's taking away time from what you need to be doing, right? And if you're open to doing that and you're happy to accept that, fine. But if you're doing something else and they're taking that away from you, then that's not right. You need to be basically assertive and say, no, sorry, they'll find someone else to do it. They'll find someone help other place. They'll probably respect you more for saying no to work on your own stuff than they would if you say yes. Be really, really, really clear on what you want to do in life, okay? And I know that's a big, bold statement, but it is so much easier to direct yourself through whatever life path throws at you if you know where you're going. So try and hone down and be smart with your goals. I've done a video before on SMART goals, but it's basically just being specific, actionable, time orientated, all this sort of stuff. Just make sure that you know exactly how you're going to get there and what it looks like when you get there. Things like, what else have we got in here? Making decisions equals results, which equals control. Means that you have making decisions means that you're in control of your life, right? It's as simple as that. Cut things out you don't need. Condense. Basically, less is more. Do you really need this? Yes, no. I've read in this and I'm looking forward to actually actioning this in my life. But unless it's a hell yes, then it's a no. Okay? So yeah, be brutal, but it will pay off. Reward achievements on everyday progress. Okay, so achievements like if you're working towards something, I've always said this, but progression over perfection. Yeah, just do a little bit more than you did yesterday and you'll be on your way to success. Okay, but always recognize it. Recognize the achievement. Recognize when you're doing well. Do you remember when you were at school and you had gold stars on a thing and you're like, oh yeah, I can see myself getting better when you ate your broccoli or you went to bed early or whatever it was. That motivated you as a kid, right? Why not do it now? It's not silly. Have a system in your house whereby if you do your daily habits, if you do your exercise, if you do your work, whatever it might be, give yourself a gold star or whatever works for you. But it helps looking at that going, yeah, I'm almost there. Come on, motivation. Let's keep going, right? Routine is key. Man, I'm terrible for this. I have routines, but I deviate from the plan a lot. It's so key to have basically a good routine that keeps you on track, because then it's also, you're able to measure how far you've come, especially when you journal, right? So look at this. If I journal for a month and I have a strict routine about what I do and how I do it, then I can look back a month ago and go, where was I then? Look at where I am now and go, holy moly, I've come that far. That's awesome, right? What can I do in another month's time, and then another month's time, and then it builds inner confidence. It builds inner respect. It means that you can prove to yourself that you can do what you set your mind to, and put it in a book. Read it in your own time. It's good to have. Okay. Control your triggers. So triggers can be good and bad, but bad ones are things like falling victim to peer pressure with friends or commitments or things like that, or saying you're going to get off your phone at 9 p.m. and then it being 10 past and you're like, oh, it's all right, I'll be on there for another 5 minutes. Just bad triggers that get you into bad spaces. Good triggers are things that are habits or whatever that you can instill into autonomous things you do anyway on a day-to-day basis. So what I mean by that is stuff that when you get up in the morning, for example, you make your coffee or walk your dog or something, stuff that you do without thinking. If you want to then introduce a new habit into your life, do it right before you do that thing that you do every day anyway, and make it super easy, super small. Let's say, for example, you want to get good at doing press-ups, right? every time you make a coffee in the morning, right, drop down and do 2 press-ups. And then just celebrate that. Put it on your star chart. Make it really, really cool. Okay? Look at what's important right now. That's the most important thing. Thanks very much. I'll give you another book review when I finish the next one.